Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Welcome everybody. Very happy to see so many of you came on time. Very good. That shows Krishna that you are serious. And that is the secret of success, to be sincere and serious. Tonight's Bhagavat session is from the first canto, chapter 6, conversation between Narada and Vyas. Let us invoke the 12-syllable mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So before we begin the chapter, let me discuss a little bit about the previous chapter. So in the previous chapter, the scene is that Vyasadeva, and this is after the battle of Kurukshetra. This is after that. Vyasadeva is in his ashram, and one day he wakes up, he does his morning sadhana, but in his heart, he is feeling something is missing, something is lacking, something is not right. And he has an idea of what it may be. And at that exact moment, his spiritual master arrives, Sri Narada Muni. And so, as a good disciple, Vyasadeva says to his guru, please find out the root cause of my despondency, why I am feeling something missing. So, for instance, you are guru for many of your patients. Am I right? They come, they express so many things, and then you have to advise them. So you have some idea of the relationship between guru and disciple. As Prabhupada says, the relationship is like father and son. It's an intimate relationship. So Narada says, yes, Vyasadeva, the problem you are experiencing is that although you edited the 4 Vedas, originally there was one, so he edited and made it into 4 Vedas. And although you compiled 108 Upanishads, which deal with transcendence. Transcendence means that which is beyond the modes of nature. As Krishna tells Arjuna in chapter 2, Nishtragunyo Bhavarjana. My dear Arjuna, rise above the materialistic Vedas and come to the transcendental platform. So that is what the Upanishads deal with. Transcendence. That which is beyond this material cosmic manifestation. And Narada said, yes, and you have compiled so many Puranas and histories. And you also compiled the Mahabharata, a great epic. And in that Mahabharata, the most important thing of that Mahabharata, Bhagavat-katha. That's the most important thing in the whole Mahabharata. And he said, and you also wrote this very scholarly work, Vedanta Sutra. But the reason you are feeling lacking is you forgot to glorify Krishna, his devotees, and devotional service, which is the actual thing that should be discussed. Sambandha, abhideya, prayojana. One's relationship, eternal relationship with God. Activities with that understanding. And then the fruit of that love of God. That, Lord Chaitanya says, permeates the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. 3 things: Sambandha, abhideya, prayojana. So Narada said to Vyasadeva, now you write Srimad Bhagavatam and you describe God, Krishna, and place him in his proper position as the Supreme. And you describe his relationships with devotees. And then you describe the process, that process which Krishna at least 3 times in Bhagavad-Gita says. What's that word? The conclusion of Gita, what is it? Bhakti. Bhakti, bhakti, bhakti. You've heard me say this 1 billion times. You want to see Krishna. What's the process? You want to know Krishna. You want to come to Krishna. That's what Bhagavad Gita is teaching. So Narada says, now you write Srimad Bhagavatam. So Narada spoke many, many things in the previous chapter. And Narada spoke a little bit about himself, how he was a young boy and his mother was a Shudra. And one day he was serving the devotees because his mother was engaged in a dharmshala. So during the Chaturmasya period, during those 4 months, the sages and the devotees, they don't travel. They stay in one place. So Narada was serving these, and the exact word is used, Bhakti Vedanta. Bhakti Vedanta uses that word, that he was serving these. And one time he asked for their remnants. And he took their remnants and something happened. Something happened inside. He changed. He started to develop a different kind of consciousness just by eating the remnants of the pure devotees. And they also instructed him in some bhakti concepts. They also taught him. So now Vyasadeva is picking up from there. So let's pick up. Are you ready to begin? Say Hare Krishna. Please follow along on your sheets. You'll get more out of it. Sutta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, thus hearing all about Sri Narada's birth and activities, Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows. Sri Vyasadeva said, what did you do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth, O Narada-ji? O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation? And how did you attain this body, having quit your old one in due course? O great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. So how is it that this subject matter, which happened prior to this day of Brahma, is still fresh in your memory, undisturbed by time? Yes, all of us, we don't remember what happened in our previous life, and that's because we change the body. Although the memories are there in the subtle body, and from time to time, Krishna reminds you of all your desires that you've had so many lifetimes. But specific incidents, no, you don't remember. But Narada was telling Vyasadeva in the previous chapter his previous life. Because now he's Narada Muni, Guru Dev, the transcendental spaceman. So he's telling Vyasadeva about his previous life. And in the 7th canto, Narada tells Yudhishthira about the birth before that. Yes, before Narada. So right now, what we're reading now, Narada is Narada Muni. And he told Vyasadeva how in his previous life he was born the son of a Sudra. And he tells in the 7th canto to Yudhishthira how he became the son of a Sudra. That he was a demigod. He was a Gandharva, Upabarhana. And there was a Sankirtan festival in the heavenly planets. And this Upabarhana, instead of glorifying Krishna and Hari, started to sing songs about the demigods. So the leaders of the Sankirtan festival, they got angry at Upabarhana and said, "You are not fit to reside here in the heavenly planets. You should immediately take birth, devoid of all beauty," because Gandharvas have very beautiful bodies. And Narada told Yudhishthira, "I had a very nice, beautiful body when I was Upabarhana." And they told him, "No, you take birth, no beauty, take birth, the son of a Shudra." So Narada told that. Let's continue. Sri Narada said, "The great sages who had imparted scientific knowledge of transcendence to me." So, Nimai Charan, what is transcendence? I explained it 10 minutes ago. What is transcendence? Anybody? Who can answer? What is transcendence? Yes, that which is beyond the material manifestation, beyond the modes of nature. That is transcendence. You remember? Okay. "Departed for other places, and I had to pass my life in this way. I was the only son of my mother, who was not only a simple woman, but a maidservant as well. Since I was her only offspring, she had no alternative for protection. She bound me with the tie of affection. She wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me." Now, this next part I put in bold. Narada tells Vyasadeva, "The world is under the full control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master. When I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmin school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent, influenced by supreme time." In the Bhagavat-katha, who is time? Krishna. Very good, Nimai Charan. Where does he say that? Twice. In 10th chapter and 11th, like you quoted. Time I am, the destroyer of all worlds. I took this as the special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benedictions for his devotees. So, Narada here, even at that stage of 5 years old, had transcendental understanding. His mother had died by the bite of the snake, but he took it. This is a sign from God. That's how a devotee thinks. Prabhupada also mentioned that when as a householder he had his business and it all burnt down one day. Finished. But he took it. It's a sign from Krishna. And Prabhupada remembered a verse when Krishna told Yudhishthira, my first real installment of mercy, if I favor someone, I take everything away. And they have no recourse other than to take shelter of Krishna. I took this as the special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benedictions for his devotees. And so thinking, I started for the north. After my departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery gardens, and natural forests. I passed through hills and mountains full of reservoirs of various minerals like gold, silver, and copper, and through tracts of land with reservoirs of water filled with beautiful lotus flowers fit for the denizens of heaven, decorated with bewildered bees and singing birds. I then passed alone through many forests of rushes, bamboo, reeds, sharp grass, weeds, and caves, which were very difficult to go through alone. He's only 5 years old at this time. What he's saying, what he's remembering in the present life about his previous life, this took place when he was 5 years old. Reminds me of another great devotee, Dhruva. Yes, he also left home at 5 years old to go to the forest. I visited deep, dark, and dangerously fearful forests, which were the play yards of snakes, owls, and jackals. Thus traveling, I felt tired both bodily and mentally, and I was both thirsty and hungry. So I took a bath in a river lake and also drank water. By contacting water, I got relief from my exhaustion. During Janmashtami, I'm not able to do Nirjala. So during the Janmashtami fast, I drink water. How many people do Nirjala for Janmashtami? Wow. Wow. I'm not able to do it. So I take the dust of your lotus feet. Bless me. By contacting water, I got relief from my exhaustion. Notice he didn't say Coca-Cola. He said water. After that, under the shadow of a banyan tree in an uninhabited forest, I began to meditate upon the Supersoul situated within, using my intelligence as I had learned from liberated souls. So this is real meditation. Real meditation means meditation on Krishna in the heart. Even Krishna says that in chapter 6 of Bhagavat-katha. When he gives the summary, he says, meditate on me. And also throughout Bhagavatam, it says, meditation means meditation on Krishna in the heart. That's real meditation. I began to meditate upon, quiz question. How many arms does Supersoul have? 4. Very good. Excellent. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love. See? That's the key to success. Transcendental love. Tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. This is success. He's meditating, and then Krishna actually appears on the lotus of his heart. O Vyasadeva, at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened. Has anyone ever experienced that? Where every limb of your body is separately enlivened? Wow. This is real transcendental happiness. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord. The transcendental form of the Lord as it is satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. But upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. I desired to see that again, that transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view that form again, I could not see him anymore, and thus dissatisfied. I was very much aggrieved, seeing my attempts in that lonely place. The personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief. So, he meditated once, Krishna appeared. But what did Krishna do? Disappeared. So he thought, oh, I'll just do it again. But it wouldn't work. That teaches us that realizing Krishna is not a mechanical process. It's up to Krishna whether or not he will allow himself to be revealed. It's not like you put the money in the slot and you get your popcorn. It's not mechanical. Krishna appearing, because he's a person and because Krishna is independent, nothing can make him. That's why we have this phrase, causeless mercy. Krishna doesn't have to do anything for anyone. He's completely independent. Nobody can make him do anything. Just like you can make your children go to bed, brush your teeth. Don't you do that sometimes? Yes. And they have to do it because your mama or Yashoda with the stick, right? But Krishna showed Yashoda, I'm independent. Why? No matter how many ropes, what happened? Still short, 2 fingers. He was teaching her, hello, I'm independent. You can tie me only when I allow you to tie me. So, Narada tried. Krishna does not appear. Now he's grieving. So here's what Krishna spoke. So, there's no form. He just hears the voice of Krishna. O Narada, I regret that during this lifetime, you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. So 2 things. Incomplete service, your service has to be complete service. And number 2, you have to be free from sin. That's That's the qualification to see God. You have to, and there's that verse in Bhagavat-katha, Mang chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati yaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So your service has to be uninterrupted, non-stop, nirantara, 24/7. That's your service. That qualifies you to see God. And no sins, no material taints. O virtuous one, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desire for me, because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. So this is an understanding of what we do. All the different aspects of devotional service, especially chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. We are hankering for Krishna. That's what japa is. Hankering. Just like sometimes I'm sure your children might get hungry and they may come to you, Mommy, I'm hungry, right? Do they do that sometimes? All the time? So, they're hankering. So, in the same way, when we do our japa, we're hankering for Krishna and Krishna's service. That's what japa is. Hankering, Krishna. When Ram was separated from Sita, Sita was hankering for Ram. Ram was hankering for Sita. Like that. When the Pandavas were banished to the forest for how many years? 12 and 1. 13 years altogether. 12 and then that final year, incognito. What was Bhima hankering for? When will I kill all of Dhritarashtra's sons? Because he vowed, I will kill all 100 sons. Especially who? Duryodhan. And that was the last one. He saved Duryodhan as dessert. Last one. So, we are hankering for Krishna and Krishna's service. Because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. So this is why Krishna puts devotees into distress. If Krishna made it easy, then we would take Krishna as something cheap. But Krishna puts us in distress just so that we will hanker for him. And it comes to us in so many different ways. Everybody has, I'm sure, has a story. Something happened. I know one story. I'm not going to say any names. But their son, they were very worried their son might die. So they were hankering. But Krishna saved the day. Yes. The more you will be freed from all material desires. By service of the absolute truth, even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me. Consequently, he or she goes on to become my associate in the transcendental world after giving up the present deplorable material world. Wow. Krishna does not have a very high regard for his material world. What does Krishna say in the 8th chapter of Bhagavat-katha about the material world? Dukalayama Shastra. And to what extent? From the highest down to the lowest. All are places of misery wherein repeated birth take place. So he uses this word here, deplorable, meaning not nice, not good. Intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time. Even at the time of creation, as well as at the time of annihilation, your remembrance will continue by my mercy. So look at the benediction the young boy Narada got. He will always remember Krishna. That is the topmost Ashirvad. He will always remember Krishna. All right, we'll stop there. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.